When we think of wealth, most people immediately picture numbers in a bank account, properties owned, cars driven, or the status symbols that prove to the world, I've made it. But I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself this: what is the one thing that determines whether you can actually enjoy any of those treasures? It's not the size of your paycheck. It's not even the length of your RA sum A. It's the energy you carry inside your body each day. Because the truth is, the real currency of life is not money, it's energy. Think about it. You could have all the financial security in the world, but if you wake up exhausted, in pain, or mentally drained, what good is it? The dinner reservations, the vacations, the business opportunities, they all lose their sparkle when you don't have the vitality to embrace them. On the other hand, when you are energized, when your body feels light, your mind sharp, and your spirit ready to take on the day, suddenly even the simplest experiences, a walk in the park, cooking with loved ones, laughter shared around a table, feel like treasures. That's because energy is the life force that animates everything else we do. Without it, money is a silent number on a screen. With it, even modest means can feel abundant. What's fascinating is that many of us guard our financial wealth with incredible vigilance. We track expenses, hire accountants, make long-term investments, and protect our assets. Yet, when it comes to our health, the very foundation of that wealth, we often act recklessly. We stay up too late, fuel ourselves with processed foods, skip exercise, and push stress to the breaking point, all the while assuming our bodies will somehow keep carrying us. It's like drawing from a savings account every day without ever making a deposit. At first, you don't notice the depletion, but eventually, the account runs dry, and no amount of regret can refill it. I often tell people that energy is more than just a physical state, it's a spiritual asset. It's what allows you to show up fully for your loved ones, to create, to serve, to chase your dreams. Without it, even the wealthiest individual feels impoverished. You've probably seen examples of this. Maybe it's the executive who built an empire but collapsed under the weight of chronic disease. Or the retiree who worked tirelessly for decades only to spend their golden years battling fatigue and illness. Their bank accounts were overflowing, but their energy was bankrupt. The good news is that energy is not fixed. It's renewable. Just like you can make wise investments to grow your financial assets, you can cultivate habits that multiply your vitality. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and stress management, these are the dividends that pay out in energy, clarity, and resilience. And when you have energy, you begin to notice a profound shift. Time feels more expansive, relationships feel richer, and even your sense of purpose deepens. Because energy allows you to participate fully in life rather than watching it pass by. Now, let's go a little deeper. Why do we equate money with success in the first place? Psychologically, wealth gives us the illusion of control. It makes us feel safe against uncertainty. But philosophically, what is wealth if not the ability to live fully and meaningfully? And can you truly live fully if you are too fatigued to engage, too ill to travel, too anxious to sleep? No sum of money can purchase a sunrise experienced in good health or the joy of dancing with your grandchildren without pain. Those moments are bought with energy, not dollars. We are living in an age where energy is being stolen from us in subtle ways through processed foods that inflame the body, technology that keeps us awake at night, and stress that gnaws at our nervous system. And yet, we have more access than ever to tools that can restore it. Choosing a nutrient-dense meal, prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of restorative sleep, or taking 30 minutes for daily movement, these are not trivial acts. They are deposits into your most precious account, your energy bank. Imagine if we began treating our health like we treat our financial portfolios. Imagine checking in daily, asking, what did I invest in today that will increase my energy tomorrow? That mindset shift alone has the power to transform not only your body, but your entire life trajectory. Because with energy, opportunities that once felt overwhelming suddenly feel possible. With energy, your mind sharpens, your creativity blossoms, and your relationships deepen. And that, my friends, is the truest form of wealth there is. So let me leave you with this thought. If you woke up tomorrow and every dollar you had was gone, but your energy was limitless, you could rebuild. You could start again, work again, create again, and love again. But if you woke up tomorrow with millions in the bank and no energy to move, to think, or to feel, your wealth would be meaningless. That is why the real currency of life is not money. It is energy. Guard it, invest in it, and value it as the treasure it is. Because once you realize this truth, you'll discover that you've been a millionaire all along. Let's take this a step further. If energy is the real currency of life, then health is the foundation on which that currency is built. You can't generate, store, or spend energy without a healthy body to house it. And yet, many of us still think of health as something optional, almost like a side account that we'll deal with later. We convince ourselves that wealth can make up for the gaps in our health. We assume that the right doctor, the right hospital, the right pill will save us when the time comes. But here's the sobering reality. No matter how large your financial safety net, it cannot replace the everyday deposits you make or fail to make into your health. When you peel back the layers of what makes life worth living, it always circles back to health. Think about freedom. We usually associate it with financial independence, with being able to buy what we want, travel where we please, and do as we like. But real freedom is the ability to move your body without pain, to breathe without struggle, to sleep without medication. A wealthy person confined to a hospital bed does not feel free, but someone with moderate means who can walk, laugh, and experience life's joys with ease. That person experiences the true richness of freedom. Health is also the great equalizer. A disease does not care how much money sits in your bank account. A heart attack does not pause to ask whether you're a CEO or a school teacher. In that sense, health has a humbling quality. It reminds us that, regardless of our titles or income, we are all biological creatures living in bodies that must be cared for. Neglect the body, and no amount of money will save you from its collapse. But nurture it, and it will reward you with decades of energy, resilience, and presence. There's also a psychological layer here that's often overlooked. When you know your health is in good condition, you feel secure in a way money cannot replicate. That security breeds confidence. It allows you to dream bigger, to plan further, and to take risks you might otherwise avoid. On the flip side, poor health breeds a constant undercurrent of fear. Even if you're wealthy, that fear can become a caged fear of illness, fear of decline, fear of not being able to enjoy what you've worked for. And fear, as we know, is the enemy of freedom. Now, I want to challenge you with a thought experiment. If I handed you $10 million today, but told you that in exchange you would lose your mobility, your ability to eat without assistance, or your mental clarity, would you take it? Most of us, when faced with the reality of that choice, would say no, because deep down we know that money without health is hollow. Yet every time we neglect sleep, every time we pile on stress without relief, every time we sacrifice nutrition for convenience, we're making that very trade, giving up slices of our health for fleeting gains that money provides. The irony is that protecting your health is often less expensive, less complicated, and less time-consuming than chasing wealth. It's found in the simplest daily rituals, nourishing your body with whole foods, carving out time for movement, prioritizing rest, and nurturing relationships that reduce stress and bring joy. These are not grand, dramatic gestures. They are small, consistent investments that compound into extraordinary returns. And the return is not just more years in your life, but more life in your years. Philosophically, health also reframes the way we think about legacy. What will your children and loved ones remember most? Not the figures in your estate plan, but the vitality you brought into their lives, the energy to play with them, the clarity to guide them, the longevity to share milestones together. That is the inheritance of health, and it is priceless. The real tragedy I see all too often is people who treat health as negotiable, assuming they'll buy it back later when things slow down. But health doesn't work that way. It is not a commodity to be purchased on demand. It's a garden. If you tend to it daily, it flourishes. If you ignore it, no amount of wealth can instantly restore it once the soil has dried and the roots have withered. So, if we're redefining what it means to be a millionaire, here's the question you must ask yourself. What is the state of your health account? Are you making daily deposits that will allow you to live richly, not just financially, but physically, mentally, and spiritually? Or are you overspending your health with the assumption that wealth will always cover the bill? Here's the truth: you cannot escape wealth. May buy you comfort, but only health buys you time. And time paired with vitality is the only true luxury worth chasing. So don't just count your dollars. Count your steps, your hours of rest, your balanced meals, your moments of joy. Because in the final measure, those are the figures that will determine whether you lived as a true millionaire. When we talk about wealth, most people picture investments, real estate, or business ventures. But let's pause and consider another kind of asset, one that isn't tracked on any financial statement yet quietly dictates the quality of your entire life. I'm talking about relationships. The people you surround yourself with, the bonds you nurture, the connections that give meaning to your daily existence. In truth, Relationships are an often overlooked form of wealth, and they directly influence your health more than most of us care to admit. Modern science has been proving this for decades. One of the most famous longitudinal studies on human happiness, the Harvard study of adult development, has tracked people for over 80 years. The conclusion is not complicated, not buried under jargon, not hidden in statistical noise. The people who maintained warm, supportive relationships lived longer, stayed healthier, and reported greater happiness than those who didn't. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect. A strong social fabric literally strengthens the body and the mind. Now, why does this happen? It's partly biological. When you feel connected, your body produces less cortisol, the stress hormone that accelerates aging and weakens immunity. Your nervous system relaxes, your cardiovascular system operates more smoothly, and your sleep deepens. In contrast, loneliness, chronic disconnection has been shown to be as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Imagine that. A life surrounded by people who genuinely care about you is not just pleasant, it is protective. It is medicine in its most natural form. But there's also a psychological and philosophical depth here that we can't ignore. Human beings are meaning-seeking creatures. We don't just want to survive, we want to matter. And we matter most when our lives are reflected in the eyes of others, when our joys are amplified because they're shared, and our burdens are lightened because they're carried together. Without that, wealth feels empty. Think of the countless stories of billionaires who die alone, surrounded by possessions but bereft of companionship. The question we must ask is not, how much did they have? But, who did they have? Because the second question always determines the true quality of life. I want you to reflect on this in your own life. Who would you call at 2 in the morning if you were in trouble? Who would drop everything to stand by your side? Not because of what you own, not because of what you can provide, but simply because of who you are. That list of people is more precious than any balance sheet. And if your list feels shorter than you'd like, that is not a reason for despair. It's an invitation. It means you have the chance right now to begin investing in this other form of wealth, your connections. Building this wealth doesn't require contracts, degrees, or deposits. It requires presence. It requires listening more than speaking, showing up when it's inconvenient, and giving of yourself in ways that can't be measured in dollars. A kind word, a shared meal, a visit during illness. These are investments of a different currency, but they pay dividends in resilience, joy, and longevity. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you invest in others, you don't deplete your resources, you multiply them. Now let's talk about the health side again, because the science reinforces what philosophy has taught us for centuries. People in loving marriages tend to recover faster from illness. Friendships act as buffers against depression. Communities lower the risk of cognitive decline as we age. These aren't just abstract findings. They are measurable, life-extending truths. It means that the laughter you share with a friend is not just fun, it's therapy. The hug you receive from a loved one is not just affection, it's medicine. We live in an era of unprecedented digital connection, but also unprecedented loneliness. That paradox is striking. Many of us have hundreds, even thousands of online contacts, yet feel starved for authentic closeness. It's proof that real wealth in relationships is not measured by numbers, but by depth. A single true friend is worth more than 1,000 acquaintances. And one deeply caring community, no matter how small, is worth more to your health than any portfolio of stocks. So, if we are asking the question, are you a true millionaire? The answer cannot be calculated in currency alone. It must include the richness of your relationships. Because at the end of life, when people are asked what matters most, they don't say, I wish I had bought more property, or I wish I had made another deal. They say, I wish I had spent more time with the people I loved. That regret tells us something. It tells us that many of us chase the wrong kind of wealth until it's too late to reclaim the right one. Here's what I want to leave you with. Wealth is not a solitary pursuit. Health is not a solitary achievement. Both are deeply entwined with the bonds we share. If you want to feel truly rich, start by investing in people. Call the friend you've been meaning to call. Forgive the family member you've been holding at a distance. Share more meals, laugh more often, listen more deeply. These are the deposits that will never lose value, that no market fluctuation can erase. Because in the end, it isn't the size of your fortune that defines you. It's the size of your circle. And the wealth of your heart, measured by the love you give and receive, will always be the truest measure of whether you lived like a millionaire. When we talk about wealth, many people imagine growth, more assets, more returns, more accumulation. But when it comes to health, the same principle applies. Your body and mind are not fixed assets. They are living investments. They respond to the choices you make daily, and they either compound in value or depreciate silently over time. The question is, are you investing in yourself as deliberately as you invest in your financial future? Think of your body as the most valuable property you will ever own. It's a piece of real estate you can't sell, can't trade, and can't walk away from. Every choice you make, what you eat, how you move, how much you sleep, how you handle stress, acts like a deposit or withdrawal from your health account. And unlike money, health doesn't wait for your retirement years to pay out. It pays dividends every single day in the form of energy, focus, resilience, and the ability to fully experience life. Let's imagine two people. One spends decades building financial wealth while neglecting exercise, eating poorly, and ignoring stress. They arrive at retirement with plenty of money, but also with aching joints, high blood pressure, and a long list of prescriptions. Another person may have modest savings, but they've treated their health as their primary asset. They wake up each morning strong, mobile, alert, and grateful. Tell me, who is the true millionaire? Isn't wealth only as valuable as your ability to enjoy it? This perspective changes everything. Suddenly, going for a walk isn't just exercise, it's a long-term investment in mobility. Choosing a colorful salad isn't just a dietary preference. It's like buying stock in your future clarity and vitality. Turning off your phone at night to get deep. Restorative sleep isn't a luxury, it's compound interest for your brain and heart. Every healthy habit is an investment, and like any investment, consistency over time is what builds true wealth. Now, there's a philosophical dimension here that I don't want to overlook. In finance, one of the greatest fears is losing your fortune through poor decisions, risky ventures, or unexpected crises. In health, the same principle applies. We gamble with our choices, sedentary lifestyles, constant stress, unhealthy foods, as though our health account is bottomless. But the truth is, our health, like our wealth, can run out. And when it does, no financial safety net can truly replace it. The richest patient in the hospital is still a patient. But here's the encouraging part. Just as financial investments can recover with smart strategies, so too can your health. The body has a remarkable ability to heal, to bounce back when given the right environment. The heart responds to improved nutrition and exercise. The brain sharpens when challenged and rested. Even at advanced ages, muscles grow when trained, and immune systems strengthen when nourished. It's never too late to invest. It's simply a matter of starting where you are. We also need to consider the ripple effect of these investments. When you choose health, you're not just enriching yourself, you're enriching everyone around you. Your family, your friends, your community benefit when you're strong, capable, and present. Your children see an example worth following. Your spouse sees a partner who is committed to longevity. Your friends see someone who is available not just today, but for years to come. In this way, health becomes a shared form of wealth. It creates abundance for all who are connected to you. And what about the psychological return on these investments? Health choices are not just physical, they are deeply tied to how you see yourself. Each time you make a decision that honors your body, you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of care, worthy of strength, worthy of longevity. This builds confidence, resilience, and a sense of agency. It's not just about muscles or blood pressure, it's about cultivating a mindset that refuses to squander the gift of life. Now, I want you to imagine standing at the end of your life. Would you be prouder of the bank account you left behind or the vitality with which you lived those years? Would you wish you had one more stock option or one more afternoon hiking with your grandchildren? This is not to diminish financial security. It matters, of course, but it is to remind you that without health, wealth cannot be savored. And without savoring, what is the point of accumulation? So, if we're asking, are you a true millionaire? The measure must include this. Are you investing daily in your most priceless asset, your health? Because unlike money, health cannot be borrowed. It cannot be outsourced. And once it's gone, there is no bank that will loan you another decade of energy, clarity, or joy. Here's the truth I want you to take with you. Every choice you make is an investment. Every bite of food, every step you take, every night of sleep, every moment of stress you release, it all counts. It is building or eroding your future. And if you can live with that awareness, then you will discover the greatest kind of wealth of body and mind that allow you to live fully, love deeply, and savor the fortune of simply being alive. Because in the end, the greatest inheritance you can leave yourself and those you love is not just money in the bank, but years of vitality in the body. That, my friends, is the true millionaire's legacy.